Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. You didn't think I was going to leave you out in the cold for February, did you? Valentine's Day? Not a chance. I've got a couple Valentine's Day projects coming up. This beautiful clock right here is the one that we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to show you where you can get the template for it so you can do this yourself. So stay right there. We're getting started right now. All right, so here we are in Lightburn, and this is the file that you're going to receive if you decide to get this file. It's a basic file. I created two hearts, a couple circles, and a clock face, and that's it. So this is the top layer right here, this first one, and this one over here is the bottom layer. So this one is just going to cut out and engrave over here, and then cut out the little circle in the middle for the clock mechanism. This one is going to cut everything out. And then I'm going to use this centerpiece that gets cut out to do the names with. And actually, let me update this file. Let me ungroup this, ungroup it again, and just grab that one because we don't need to have that one on there. So I'll take that one off. And I'm going to save this file right now so you don't have to do this if you decide to download this. So let me regroup these again, and we're ready. So now the first thing I'm going to do is look at my cuts and layers. So if I right click on engrave, you'll see that's first, cut is second. Okay, this one is all cut, so it doesn't matter. And I actually did this wrong. When I did the actual job earlier today, I did the cut first. It was like this. I'll show you if I move this up. The line was up on top and the fill was second. And that's, you know, everybody makes mistakes. So make sure that your fill is on top and then your line, because this is the priority of the cut here. So the first thing it's going to do is whatever is on top, and it'll move down the list. So now we're ready to burn this one. And today I'm using the Atom Stack A5 M40 that I got from Atom Stack to do a review on. And this is not a review video. This is an actual maker video. But I got to tell you, I was very impressed with it. Did a fine job. I set it up in absolute coordinates and then start the job origin from the center. And all I did was, the M40 doesn't have limit switches on it. So I just slid the gantry. It has a very clearly defined marker, though, that tells you where it is. I moved the gantry to 200 on the Y, 200 on the X. I knew I was going to be dead center. Put my wood down exactly in those coordinates, and it was dead on perfect. So, you know, I'm starting to like, from the tests that I've been doing, I'm starting to like, you know, using absolute coordinates and not worrying about anything else. And not worrying about limit switches or anything else. So although I very rarely use limit switches, and most of the time I work in absolute coordinates anyway, but with this machine you have to. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cut for this one. And here we go. And of course this is speeded up. And this is the first cut. Now, oh, actually, this was the second one. Now you see where I screwed up here. I should have done the engraving first. It didn't affect the job, so it's not a big deal. Okay, here's the second one, and it's cutting out the inner circle first, and then the outer circle, and finally, these are the names. I used the center circle to put my name and my wife's name and the date that we were remarried, September 1st, 1986. And here's where I wanted the speed to be really slow, because I wanted to make sure, you saw me reach in there for a second, I wanted to make sure that everything here was cutting out. And it did. It actually did a fine job. And here's where I am taking it out. Usually I have a bunch of little spots that I might have to work out on the back that didn't go all the way through. This one only had one little spot. That was it. Just that one spot right there. Everything else dropped out. See all the little numbers over here, right in here? And what I did was I got my X-Acto knife and I just put it into the cut and push down. And that gets it, you know, a quarter of an inch or so. And I push down until I hear the snap. And now I know that it's released. It is cut through. That was the only little spot that didn't cut through out of the whole name. And of course, it has a very small kerf, so you have to be real careful getting these out, especially with these smaller cuts. And there it is. And that came out great. And there's the 9, the 186. Little, small little tiny numbers. And this is what I ended up with on the cutout. Now you can see that all of the burn, this does not have air assist, and it really did a fine job for not having air assist. So getting back to what did I do wrong? I should have, now I knew I was going to cut those out because I was going to put the names on top and the date down here on the bottom. So what I should have done was I should have taken and put the name, and I'm not going to find the same font or anything. I'm just going to show you what I should have done. I should have taken and put the name over here like that and engraved this instead. So this way, once I cut out those pieces, I know exactly where to place the letters. So that would have been engraved there. And then all I would have to do is just select the name, press Control and the letter D to duplicate it, and move it off to the other side. And on the way over there, and we're going to just rotate this one like that. And the other one is, the reason why I'm not mirroring it is because the other side is going to be different because it's a different number of letters. So, but I do duplicate it here so it stays on the same plane, okay? So now if I would have engraved this, in other words, engrave this first and then cut everything out, then when I have my cutout pieces, my names and letters, I'd have a spot where I'd know to place those letters. And I would engrave them at a much slower speed so that they engraved, you know, deep into the wood and left the spot where they could drop in, because I'm going to go ahead and paint this. So I'm going to paint this one red. And once you paint it, you're not going to see the engraving. But if I were to change the speed now, just for this one, down to like 1075, well, that would lower it down. The engraving would vaporize the wood and lower it down so that even after I painted it, I could take my letters and move them around on the paint and they would drop into that little spot. So that's something I should have done and something I should have known because I've done this kind of stuff before and I just forgot to do. But anyway, I wound up having to do it by hand. So you shouldn't, though. You shouldn't have to do it by hand. And then all you have to do, once you've got this one done, is move this one off the workbed so that Lightburn can't see it. Grab this one over here. And now what I did was I had it at 200 and 200. So I'm going to come up here to the X post, Y post, up here in the top left. And I'm going to put it at, I'm going to do 200, tab, 200, enter. Now that's in the same exact spot that the other one was in. So I know I can put another piece of wood exactly at those coordinates, 200 and 200, and I know that it's going to burn perfectly. I don't even have to frame it. So that's what I did. So, I mean, that's it. This is a real quick video today. And let me show you what the result is. This is the final result. And what I did was, on this Baltic birch plywood, I used some pre-stain, some Minwax pre-stain. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. This is it right here, Minwax pre-stain. And I used a polyacrylic over the top of that. If you pre-stain your wood, you're never going to have a problem with blotchiness. And this goes on real easy, just with a paper towel. You wipe it on, put on a liberal amount, let it dry. It dries in just a couple of minutes. And then you can either put your stain or your finish on. So what I did was I used the pre-stain, and then I put the polyacrylic on top. And this is what I wound up with here. And, you know, I think it came out great. I painted the top layer. I wanted to keep the wood look to some degree. I painted the top layer red, the names in white, and you see the little heart over here above my name. That glue is still drying. And the date that we were remarried, 9/1/86. Now it's hung on my wall, and my wife doesn't come in here, so she hasn't seen this yet. I'm going to give this to her on Valentine's Day for the kitchen. So there you go. Quick and easy project. And I will have down in the description a link to this file where you can do this yourself. And the only thing that you need to add to the file are just the names. And, you know, there's a lot of people put in, like to have sayings when I do these things for other people. Like around the bottom here, you might curve something that says, loving since, you know, 2005, something like that. I think that's a real nice little thing that I made up, the loving since part, and people just love it. And sometimes I do these with arrows through them. You know, this one is just a plain clock, and I think that it's a great project, especially for beginners. Now, you advanced users, you know how to do all this on your own. You don't need a template. But for those people that want the template, I'm going to put a link to it down below in the description, and you can get your own template. It'll be ready to go. The only thing you have to do is add the names. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have another Valentine's Day video coming real soon, within the next couple of days. You're not going to want to miss that one. You're really going to like that one. So, as always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.